Hey yo, what is going on, viewers of the Tubiverse? My name is Tyler and welcome to the channel that throws you for a loop more than a homophobic Iowa lady who voted for Buttigieg.
So are you saying that he has a same-sex partner?
He?
Yes.
Yes, he does.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, he's married to him, yes.
Well, then I don't want anybody like that in the White House. So can I have my card back?
I don't know. He signed it. We could go ask.
Merica! You know our caucus. It's time for Chico Crypto. Well, America, it's in shambles. There is no doubt about that in my mind. If you've seen the 2006 movie Idiocracy, you know what I mean. But if you haven't, it's a funny satire of an American future dumbed down by media, corporations, and a psycho-political organization. First, it's our voters. Next, it's our doctors, leading to medical professionals like this.
But if you could just get me well enough to get back to base.
Right. Kick ass. Well, don't want to sound like a dick or nothing, but it says on your chart that you're fucked up. You talk like a fag, and your shit's all retarded. What I do is just like you know, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, I'm fighting that idiocracy with this YouTube channel, bringing you the content that is under the wraps about as smart as it gets, but on the surface screams idiocracy. Hiding in plain sight, I call it. So what is a smart investment right now? Well, over the live stream this weekend, I said a quote that many people took to heart. 32 Ethereum for staking could in the future be your full-time job and provide a living salary. Now I know some of you are like, say what?
Say what?
Say
what?
Which is a good reaction to that, because you go to the Ethereum staking calculator and put in 32 Ethereum for the amount, monthly earnings are only about 32 bucks, with yearly earnings around $385. Not nearly enough to replace a salary, especially for someone living within the United States. But what many people don't realize is Ethereum isn't complete as we know it. Ethereum is still in 1.0, with 2.0 being the next stage. 5 points we need to realize is 2.0 will consist of interconnected shards and, of course, the proof of stake algorithm. Number 2, most likely the transition is going to begin this quarter. Number 3, 2.0 is required to meet the demands of scalability, speed, decentralization, security, and longevity. Number 4, there will be no mining in 2.0, and staking as a validator will be the only way to get passive income. And number 5, the major disadvantage of this is uncertainty within the community and the risks associated with the shift. So it's hard for an asset to reach its true value when there's a good amount of uncertainty surrounding key details of the project, including the baseline economics. But a clear picture is coming, like the final piece of Ethereum's economic puzzle. Creating a monetary policy so robust, Finance 1.0 will be shaking in their booties. Right now, one of the major concerns with Ethereum is inflation. The network was originally built and coded to allow indefinite inflation into the future, even with proof of stake. As we can see, high inflation in the beginning, but as time went on, that inflation decreased, but it would never hit zero. This was built for Ethereum's proof of work with the miners. But even with Ethereum's switch to proof of stake, this inflation would not stop. The economic model of Ethereum 2.0 maintains inflation rates below 1% and a dynamically adjusting reward scale for the validators staking. Much different than Bitcoin, which will get below 1% by the 2024 halving, and halving after halving will get closer to 0% inflation. And far out into the future, estimates year 2140, the last halving takes place, and Bitcoin inflation stops, officially becoming a deflationary currency. And that is the argument, my friends. In just over 4 years, Bitcoin's inflation will drop below 1%. And then in just over 8 years, it will have less than 0.5%, while Ethereum's will realistically be just less than 1%. The scarcity of Bitcoin compared with Ethereum over time will become apparent, unless Ethereum was able to figure out that final puzzle piece. Well, Ethereum has, with Ethereum Improvement Proposal EIP 1559, which was submitted by Eric Connor all the way back in March of last year. Now, this improvement wasn't made to fix the inflation problem, but was actually made to fix the fee market of gas for including a transaction into an Ethereum block. But helping inflation is a side effect. So according to Eric's blog on the EIP, the source of frustration with the current fee system stems primarily from Ethereum's attempt to price fees using a simple auction mechanism known as first price auction. This system works by having everyone submit their bid, gas price, for how much they're willing to pay to have their transaction picked up by a miner. Usually miners select transactions ranked by the highest fees, which results in many users grossly overpaying. Which, if you have used Ethereum and something like my Ether wallet, you have most likely overpaid for a transaction. And the work on this EIP goes all the way back to the creator of Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin. He submitted the research and mathematical foundation for this EIP all the way back in August of 2018, over 2 years ago. So the work on this isn't new, and it has been on the minds of Ethereum and its developers for a good amount of time. But inflation, what effect does this have on that, and how? Well, to explain this, we need to understand the new fee structure includes something called a base fee. I could try and explain this myself, but Eric's Medium post does it even better. The idea is to start with a base fee amount, which is adjusted up and down by the protocol based on how congested the network is. To accommodate this system, the network capacity would be increased to 16 million gas so that 50% utilization matches up with the current 8 million gas limit. Then, when the network is at greater than 50% capacity, the base fee increments up slightly, and when capacity is at less than 50%, it decrements down slightly. Because these increments are constrained, the maximum difference in base fee from block to block is predictable. This then allows wallets to auto-set the gas fees for users in a highly reliable fashion. It is expected that most users will not have to manually adjust gas fees, even in periods of high network activity. For most users, the base fee will be automatically set by their wallet, along with the addition of a small fixed amount called a tip to compensate miners. So the new fee structure will include a base fee and a possible tip for miners or validators in proof of stake. And the beauty of the base fee is it gets burned, baby, burned. Yes, the base fee in the upcoming fee structure will get thrown into the void, burned, and effectively fight Ethereum's biggest problem, inflation. But what is this tip? Well, in times of high network usage, a person can ensure their transaction is included by including a tip along with the base fee amount. The tip goes to the miner or stake validator and is the only transaction fee they will get to keep. The base fee is always burned, which is important because according to Eric, it prevents miners from manipulating the fee in order to extract more fees from users. It also ensures that only Ether can ever be used to pay for transactions on Ethereum, cementing the economic value of Ether within the Ethereum platform. So what kind of effect could this have on issuance and inflation? Well, Vitalik tweeted about it in September of last year, acknowledging that it would definitely reduce inflation. Well, just 10 days later, Eric, who submitted the EIP, gives some clearer numbers. He said, over the past week, fees on Ethereum have been about 1,400 Ether per day. Once both EIP 1559 and Proof of Stake are implemented at a total 10 million stakes, the network would be issuing 1,550 Ether per day and burning about 1,400 per day. So the network would be operating securely at near zero issuance.
Vitalik. Impressed.
So in actuality, inflation would be just 150 Ether per day, or just over 54,000 per year. Which if we rounded up Ethereum's total supply to 110 million, that would put inflation at just 0.0004%. Far below Bitcoin's and very soon. So what is up with this EIP right now? Those words from both Eric and Vitalik were almost 6 months ago. Is it being worked on? Well, let's just go to their GitHub and the Ethereum EIPs. Scrolling down to EIP 1559 and clicking in, we see the last work done on this one was back in April of 2019. Well, good thing Chico knows how to snoop around, and it looks like this EIP has been undertaken by a strong Ethereum developer community, Vulcanize. Going to their GitHub and scrolling down, we see they have a forked repository of EIPs, and below that, go Ethereum EIP 1559, which was updated yesterday. Great sign. Now going to Vulcanize's personal branch of the EIP, it was also updated yesterday. And the creator of the main EIP, Eric Connor, is working on them with it. Even better sign. And then going to Ethereum's main developer community forum, ethereum-magicians.org. There's a big topic, EIP 1559, go Ethereum. Implementation started in early January. And if you scroll through, you can see Vitalik commenting consistently, which is an amazing sign. Implementation is close. And then just 2 days ago, Norton said, "Hi all, the public repositories for the EIP Doc 1 and for the implementation have been opened. I'll continue to incorporate feedback received here. Thanks." Then clicking into the links he provides, scrolling, Vitalik once again has major input, even just 9 hours ago. And clicking into the actual implementation, 67 commits from the Vulcan EIP 1559 rebase will be merged into the Ethereum master. So it's coming, my friends. Ethereum is going to have a burn mechanism, and most likely pretty soon. A majority of Ethereum fans and holders do not even realize this. This is why I say Ethereum staking could be your job one day, providing a living salary. These economic changes are misunderstood by a large majority of the crypto community. That staking calculator I showed in the beginning wasn't factoring a burn mechanism, shooting up the price, and tips paid to the validators. The future of Ethereum just makes me clap. How about you, Buterin?
Vitalik clapping, 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 clapping.
Cheers. I'll see you next time.